and we will wait. We will wait. All right. Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Jay Stokes, your gracious host of the AVIOT Sunday Brew. This is a live stream that we do every Sunday, which is an extension of the AVIOT podcast. Glad to join you all today. Well, I just want to get right into it. I think last Sunday I was speaking about this incident that occurred in Hollywood, the LA area, where Lil Nas X, they list him as a rapper. Me personally, I don't think he's a rapper. I look at him more as a singer because more songs he's singing than anything. But the singer Lil Nas X, known for Old Town Road, known for Call Me by Your Name, a litany of other songs, he was arrested after being seen parading around in Hollywood, that area, in just his underwear, and he was exhibiting some very interesting behavior. People thought it was detrimental to his own well-being. They called law enforcement. When law enforcement got there, he allegedly assaulted a police officer and he ended up being jailed. So I believe he was let out on $75,000 bond recently. I know he was in prison. I mean, he was incarcerated, and I'm trying to see what was up with the bond situation. I hope I'm getting it right, but I know that he was still incarcerated. His father went to visit him, and yeah, here we go. The star pleaded not guilty to the charges, subsequently posting $75,000 bail after spending a weekend in jail. He was released on Monday after a Los Angeles judge ordered him to attend rehab meetings. Right. So there was an article that also came out speaking about his father that went to visit him, and his father was very upset and cried as soon as he saw him. His father's name is Robert Stafford. And I can only imagine seeing your child incarcerated because they were exhibiting some weird or very problematic behaviors is definitely a bitter pill to swallow. And it definitely is a hard situation to be in. Obviously, he's getting help. You are glad that he didn't end up down a path where he accidentally harmed himself or put another person in harm's way. But I mean, some could argue that him allegedly assaulting a police officer is putting someone in harm's way, but they're law enforcement, so I believe they can handle themselves. But now, just seeing that, I understand how his father was probably just hurt. And his father was saying, I think, according to some reports, that Lil Nas X felt a lot of pressure just being in the public eye, being this musician, being this artist that he is. And that's probably what led to this situation. Another thing, too, is that he was hospitalized for an overdose. So Lil Nas X was obviously self medicating or using substances that maybe made his head a little delirious. Now he was parading around in Hollywood in just his underwear and his boots, and then another video came out from TMZ reportedly saying that then he just stripped down, and was just naked running through the streets. So you had that situation going on. So it's really unfortunate. However, I hope that he gets the help that he needs and that he's able to truly grow from this situation. What I found funny is his father, Robert Stafford, is actually a gospel singer. Based on, if you know Lil Nas X and you know the music that he puts out and the imagery that he puts out, you'll know that him and Christianity have a very weird relationship. Especially the "Call Me by Your Name" music video when he was giving a lap dance to the devil in that music video. So I thought that was really interesting. But you know what they say, preachers' kids. Not saying that his dad was a preacher, but preachers' kids a lot of times they end up being very troublesome or troublemakers. So who knows? Maybe he was rebelling against Christianity. Obviously, him being a gay individual, maybe he was rebelling against the messages that condemn gay people in that, I guess, arena. So there's that. But like I said before, hoping Lil Nas X gets the help that he needs. And maybe this fall from grace is something that will turn his career around in a better direction. I know he was popular already, but maybe his comeback will make him even more popular. Alice, fix my hair. What about my hair needs to be fixed? I know I need a retwist, but what about my hair needs to be fixed, Alice? So that's that. Anyway, speaking of black celebrities, hey Priscilla D, how you doing? How you doing? Thank you for joining the live stream. Speaking of celebrities, black celebrities in particular, Afroplus Fest is in DC. And so I think this is really cool. There's a lot of artists that are going to be featured. You have Gunna, Ashake, Michael, Michael or Mikel Montano. I've never heard of him before. Oh, Priscilla, I'm doing all right. Just trying to conduct this stream, trying to get it out the way because usually, as of late, I've been doing the stream late at night. I've been trying to do it in the mornings or in the early afternoons on Sundays because doing it late at night, it just sets me back for the week and I feel a little rushed. Today, I'm really good because I was able to fully flesh out the topics that I want to talk about on this live stream right here. But anyways, the Afroplus Fest in DC, it has a collection of talent from different Black artists. You have Shensia, Uncle Waffles, you have Gunna Ashake, Shatawale. I love this, and I think that it's really a good combination of Black people from across the diaspora. I think it's important for times like this when you have online where you have these diaspora wars. They say where you have Black people from different areas of the globe, they end up just in conflict with one another, saying who's better, or there are xenophobic topics there. It's really disheartening. But you have this Afro Plus Fest, this collection of Black talent I think is a really good thing that people, Black people specifically, need to learn from. That you can be Black people from different areas of the globe with different cultures, but you can work together and you can come together to make something great. So I'm sure that people are going to enjoy this. My wife's actually going to this Afro Plus Fest in DC. So she'll probably give me a rundown of how everything turned out and how people, I guess, the reception of this entertainment, this entertaining uh, activity. So there's that. Another thing I was thinking about, just with a lot of the commotion surrounding it, because my little cousin, my wife's little cousin, she actually went to, I guess, some parties that were leading up into Afro Plus Fest last night, and she was having a good time there, or having a decent time. And there were a lot of parties just kind of celebrating the occasion, and you have people going into today, the main event. It made me think back to, it made me think about this idea of people wanting to be around celebrities, one sports collector, six. Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate the comment. But it made me think about just celebrities in general, entertainers, and how there is a lot of promotion surrounding them. And a lot of times people are doing anything to make sure that they can see their favorite artist, to make sure that they can just be around that arena. It put me back to this situation that happened during my bachelor's party when I was in Houston. So my cousin ended up throwing me a surprise bachelor party in Houston. I ended up going to one party out there, or I would say bachelor weekend. Yeah, there we go. And I ended up going to one party in Houston. I remember I came across this woman and we were talking, and she was saying while we were at this party that she was trying to get into the VIP section because there was a artist there, an artist that she really wanted to see. And it was interesting to me how she really wanted to get into this VIP section. We were having a pleasant conversation, not saying it was going to be taking anything further than a conversation, but it was really interesting to me that we're having this conversation, we're having a pleasant time, and she's trying to get to this VIP section. My thing is, why are you trying to get to the VIP section? Do you want to be around that energy? Do you want to be around these people who are, I guess, maybe they were famous? I don't know who was at the party, who was in the VIP section. Maybe they were famous, maybe they had a certain status. And I was just questioning, like, why do you want to be around these people? Is it because you just want to be seen? You want to be on your camera, like, hey, look who I'm with. You know what I mean? It's very interesting. And even thinking about it in a broader sense, you look at people, say they're in the market for dating or wanting to be in a relationship. And so you'll have a lot of people that will, or you'll have some people that will be doing everything in their power to be around certain celebrities. And it's like they want to date the celebrity, or they want to gain access to whatever the celebrity has. And it's interesting to me because they'll turn down maybe five people in their path to getting to that celebrity, and those five people in their path, maybe they might have been decent individuals, maybe they might have been individuals who would have treated them well, or individuals that they have a good time conversing with. But instead, these people are so focused on being around the celebrity that they miss what's right in front of them. I say all that to say that a lot of times we're so focused on being around the it crowd that we lose sight of the crowd that's in front of us. We lose sight of our friends, our associates, those people we've come into contact with, who might be better for us and who might show us a better time because we're trying to be with the in crowd. So I know I just went off on a tangent right there, but going back to Afroplus Fest, another area to consider here is how in DC, the current presidential administration has been talking about how they need to focus on crime. You had law enforcement, the National Guard, been patrolling different areas of DC to make sure that they can cut crime down, whatever that means. Funny enough, oddly enough, in the DMV area, DC specifically, crime has been going down. I understand crime is still an issue that many in the DC area want addressed. However, the way that the current US president had framed it, it seemed like it was this horrible situation that needed to be addressed immediately. There are more dangerous areas in the country than DC. A lot of them in conservative Republican districts. So it's not just in these areas that tend to be primarily black and blue areas, Democrat, I should say. It's not that they are inherently bad. It's just that there's a stigma that these areas are bad. And that's very unfortunate. So there is a fear, and I saw this from a TikTok video that my wife's cousin also sent to me. There is a fear that you have these black people that are going to Afroplus Fest in DC, they might end up being targeted by law enforcement, or there is an increased risk that their life may be in danger. So there is that there, and I really hope that black people that are going to AfroPlus Fest that they really just watch their back, make sure that they are aware of what's going on with law enforcement, that they're aware of anything that could be potentially putting their lives in danger. It's very important that we protect ourselves. And I was reading an article too, speaking of the president wanted to send law enforcement in these areas that are predominantly black. I was reading an article in the New York Times where people feel, black people specifically, feel that they are being targeted, that this quote unquote black on black crime narrative is something people are, that this current president is trying to address. And the whole narrative of there being black on black crime is a myth anyway. There's just crime. There's white on white crime, there's Latino on Latino crime. People who are in proximity to other people commit crime in areas where they're in proximity to people commit crime in their areas. And when you have black people living in proximity to other black people, or black people that live among other black people, they're going to commit crime against each other. Just like white people who live among white people are going to commit crime against each other. That's what it is. There's also a correlation or a connection between poverty or having less money and crime. Because in areas where you don't have much money flowing, people are going to resort to selling substances. They're going to resort to robbing one another. That's what happens. So instead of over policing areas, what we should do is invest in those areas where crime is present. Let's invest in after school programs. Let's invest in better schools. Let's invest in cleaning up the neighborhoods. Let's invest in mentoring programs for the children in that area. That's important as opposed to over policing. We've definitely missed the point when it comes to that. So, speaking of this current presidential administration, another story that I came across or that was recommended to me, I tell you, my wife's cousin has really saved me today in terms of the topic. I was asking her today, I said, hey, do you know what topics I could talk about on this live? And she suggested just a couple, and I took those topics, and now I'm moving with it. So I appreciate you for that, wherever you are. So the current winner of Miss America, I think, yes, the Miss America competition, her name is Abbie Stockard. So Abbie Stockard, she's a former Auburn Tigers cheerleader. She's from Alabama, and she won the special competition earlier. She won this competition. She is the current holder of the Miss America crown. So there's been reports that she supports the current presidential administration and what they stand for. The reason being because there was a Make America Healthy Again, I guess, dinner, or yeah. And so she was there and she wore this Make America Healthy Again dress, and it was this green dress. I thought the dress was not. I didn't like it much at all. But in the dress, it has written down the side of it, and you can watch it. It says "Make America Healthy Again" on the dress, and so she went to, I guess, show face at this event, and pretty much based off of that, you can say, yeah, she likely supports this current presidential administration. So let me actually look and see what the name of it was. Yeah, it was the Maha inaugural ball. So the Make America Healthy Again inaugural ball, and this was also celebrating uh, Robert Kennedy, Robert RFK Jr. Yeah, and so I don't know what that comment is that that person just put in there, but yeah. So basically, you can say that Abbie Stockard, we can deduce that she probably supports this current presidential administration. What I found funny though is that you're wearing a dress that says "Make America Healthy Again." If you look at, I guess, how people that support this current presidential administration, RFK Jr., how they operate, a lot of what they're promoting in terms of health policy actually does not make America healthy. If you read the actual "Make America Healthy Again," I guess, what is it, the order, the summary of it, it makes sense, but how it's being applied, or things that are being done regarding the health of Americans, it just doesn't add up. You have women's reproductive rights being stripped, women's reproductive rights being challenged, just, I guess, certain policies, certain practices regarding it being challenged, especially when we're talking about like terminating pregnancies, when we're talking about health clinics that help out women. Doing away with that, that's not making America healthy again. What we're talking about, maybe impacting water, questions around how water is treated. Okay, there could be an argument there. We're having these attacks on vaccines. Well, vaccines are proven to be effective. So attacking vaccines and doing away with it, that's not making America healthy again. So I just find it interesting that this slogan is being used, but the practices that this current presidential administration and its supporters are doing is not necessarily making America healthy again. Furthermore, I actually looked into Miss America, the whole Miss America competition, because I thought it was supposed to be a nonpartisan event. So I looked online and it said, while the Miss America competition doesn't necessarily support any political party, when the contestants are asked questions, they're asked questions on social issues. It's a litany of issues that they're speaking on. So essentially, you could say that Miss America is a political figure because they have to talk about social issues. And depending on where you reside on whatever end of the aisle, you're going to approach these issues through a certain lens. So there's that. But I just found it interesting. I'm looking at the dress right now. It's very tacky. But you're saying "Make America Healthy Again," and you're a woman at that, but then this current administration has been attacking women's reproductive rights. This current presidential administration doesn't want to speak on systemic racism and oppression, and we know it exists, and that also impacts people's health. You have Medicare and Medicaid under attack, which is harming the health of the elderly. So there's that. Anyways, there wasn't really much going on in the comment section, so I ended up cutting this live short. Just wanted to do it, just making sure that we are staying steady, and every Sunday we're having a new episode. But I thank y'all for tuning in. We usually end these episodes, well, no, we always end these episodes by speaking about what's brewing for this coming week. What's brewing for me, I have a article that I'm working on that is focusing on black crime, the topic that I was talking about right here. So it's pretty fresh in my mind, and I'm taking a different angle on that because black on black crime is a myth. It does not exist. There is just crime, and people who commit crime happen to be black, happen to be white, happen to be Latino, Asian. People commit crime of all backgrounds. So it is not just one particular group that is committing crime at an extraordinary rate that is worse than others. Black people are not are not inherently criminal. Black people are not just genetically predisposed to be to be these harmful human beings that are terrible for society. That's not what it is. So I'll be working on that. I'll also be making content as usual. I have some things in the pipeline. I'm not going to talk about it right now, but I'm definitely going to be working to make sure that I I release those into the social spaces, social media, the internet, what have you. But thank you all for watching. Thank you for those who commented. Thank you for contributing to this live, and we'll see you next Sunday. Peace.